Hello, YouTube. Today we're going to address a very specific topic, but for a lot of people, it's definitely part of the 20% that's going to produce 80% of the results for them when the shit hits the fan. All right, and that's going to be trust. There's lots of you, and I think I've made my position pretty clear about it in other videos, that you need to be a part of a group. You know, before the shit hits the fan, dudes. You need to, all right? You do not want to be lone wolf in this crap out there. Okay? And I did a couple of group-focused videos on my TikTok. I've got over 40 times as many followers on there as I have on YouTube. And I got a ton of comments, and I'm still getting them, about how it's hard to trust people, okay? And so I want to address that specifically, trusting people, okay, and maybe building some realistic expectations, talking about unrealistic ones, and then getting into the reality of SHTF and how it's going to affect trust. All right, so let's chat about it. I do want to let you guys know as well that I am going to do some longer community-focused videos, info dumps, just like most of the videos I've done so far. Actually, I think it's all of them. I'm just trying to get as much info out there for you guys as possible, as rapidly as possible. And I'll be getting into the how-tos and showing actual like fieldcraft skills and the way I use 80-20 with that stuff in the future. All right, let's get right after it though. Okay, trust is it's a necessary element, you know, when it comes to these kind of groups, for sure. It's really a necessary element if you're going to have any good relationship with anybody, right? There has to be a level of trust, okay? Now, first, let's talk about why some of us have a hard time trusting people and why some of us have an easy time trusting people, okay? If you guys are familiar with Erik Erikson, he was a psychologist that basically broke down these stages that people go through that determine how they deal with things from there on out. Okay, and the very first stage of development is like from 0 to 18 months, and it's called the trust and mistrust stage. All right. Well, when you're a baby, you know, and you're crying for mommy because you're hungry, when mommy comes and feeds you right away, or she comes and picks you up, she changes your diaper right away, and that kind of stuff, you start to learn that you can trust people, you know, that you can depend on her to come give you the things that you can't provide yourself with. All right. On the flip side, there's plenty of people that had to deal with parents, and I think it's particularly affected by the mother at that stage. So some of us had to deal with mothers that didn't instill that sense of trust in us, and instead have instilled a sense of mistrust. All right? Now, I'm not saying you're that person, okay? But maybe you are, right? Maybe you find it harder to trust people. Maybe you have unrealistic expectations regarding trust. Then, as you go on through life, there's other reasons that a lot of us begin to lose trust in other people, right? Being seriously backstabbed, betrayed, that kind of stuff, right? That can leave a mark. Being fired from a job that you know you shouldn't have been fired from, you know? That actually happened to me. One time I've been fired from one job in my entire life. And the guy that fired me sank that business. But he was pissed because I went to the investors, who were friends of mine, and told them what he was doing. And they decided to believe him. He fired me, and they lost everything. All right? At any rate, you know, that really didn't affect me because I knew I was in the right. You know, I wasn't surprised. So I just drove on, you know, no hesitation, no worries in jobs thereafter that I would be terminated for any reason. But, you know, that has happened to a lot of us where it's left a mark, okay? And not just those instances I'm giving you, lots of things. All right, so I think that it's our responsibility to take a look at ourselves and to do some self-reflection regarding trust and make sure that we're the kind of people that are willing to give it, and receive it, and at the same time not do it, unrealistically or unintelligently. Because a lot of us haven't been, a lot of people with trust issues never learned like what's reasonable as far as trusting people and what's unreasonable. Let's say you're a woman, you walk into a bathroom, there's a man in it. All right. Are you going to go in a stall and sit down and close the door and trust that man to leave the restroom? Okay. If that's what you would do, that's a mistake. It's a mistake. You should not trust that person. Okay, you should turn around and walk back out. And go find a different bathroom. Don't even bother waiting. Right? He might leave, might be a creep, might go walking around looking at clothes and wait for you to go back in there. Okay? It's an example that came to mind, guys, but I think it paints the picture for you, okay? So now let me share my opinion with you guys regarding trusting people that you don't know. All right, because those of us that are actually looking for SHTF groups, you're generally looking at finding people you don't know, okay? Because a lot of us, the people we know, they don't believe anything bad's going to happen, right? Or they'd already be a part of the freaking group. They got their heads up their butts. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing bad is happening at all. We're in no danger. No, the dollar's doing great. Just got the blinders on. So how do you trust when it comes to people you don't know? I mean, obviously you want to seek out like-minded people that feel a lot the same way that you do about a lot of things, okay? But here's what you do. Well, I'm going to tell you what I do. It might not be perfect. It might not be the right way to do it. And those of you that don't agree or you have some input, comments, man. Because this is a big topic, all right? And we really want to be able to be effective with this, okay? What I do when I meet anybody, unless there is something sketchy surrounding it, okay, is I give everybody a little bit of trust. Just a little bit. I treat them with respect and with kindness. All right, and if they return it, and we kind of are jiving and we seem like like-minded people, then I give them a little bit more. All right, and building true trust, it takes time. Okay, you can't just, like the dude in the bathroom, you can't just give people you don't know all your trust and expect them to reciprocate that level of trust. For one, but you can't just you can't just trust people you don't know with everything you got, man. All right. You got to start a little bit at a time, and you finally reach a point where you realize that, okay, they're trustworthy enough, right, to be in a group with them, or they're not. And then you go from there. What is trustworthy enough, though? How much trust do you really need to have in a group member during shit hit the fan? Okay? We need to talk about that. And I'm going to tell you how much trust I think you need to be able to place in those people. Okay? Let's use a scenario. Everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. All right? Your team, well, let's just say that you took a nasty fall and you're hurt pretty badly, and your back's all super swollen up, and your neck is kind of dicked up, and your team gets you back to camp. You weren't far from it, okay? And they got you under some shelter, and you still got to piss and shit, right? So let's say you got to shit, but you can't move. Right? here's what you should expect from people. Here's what you should expect them to do for you. To bring you some bark you can shit on while you're laying there, and bring you some hot water and a clean rag. Okay? You don't need to trust people so much that they'll wipe your ass for you. You don't need them to do that for you. All right? Would that be awesome to have that level of trust in people, to know that they'd wipe your ass for you? Yes. But do you need that? You know, over the course of time, maybe you'll get there. Maybe your relationship will be to a point where they will come in and, you know, clean up your shit and wipe your ass. And you would clean up their shit and wipe their ass. But you don't need to be there with these people. Okay, you need to know that they're the kind of people that are going to stay awake while they're on guard duty. Okay, that they're the kind of people that when they go out and hunt for the group, that they're going to give it their best. All right? That they're the kind of people that, you know, are going to send rounds downrange when you've got other people shooting at you. All right? But you don't need to have, it doesn't have to be like, if you were to grade trust on a scale, you don't need to get to 100% to survive with other people. You don't need that. You need like 65, 70. Right? Of course, the higher the better. And let's talk about what really is going to happen when the shit goes down. Because, dudes, the honest reality here is that you can have a best friend that you have known for 20 years that has always come when you broke down on the side of the road. You know, they've always showed up. They've always helped you out. But when the shit hits the fan, you find out very quickly that you can't trust them anymore. All right? So you've got to have options regarding groups and people, you know, and there's a very, very real likelihood that the group that you are in, when things start to get hard, because the SHTF is going to bring out the best and the worst in everyone, dudes. All right? It's going to bring out the best and worst. You're going to see people that you didn't think were that awesome strive to be better and excel. And you're going to see people that you thought had their shit totally squared away and were badasses that you totally trusted. You're going to see them shit the bed hard and quit and give up. All right? You'll be surprised what hard times will do to people. So, you know, what do you do with this? Okay, where do you go with it? You got to give some trust to get it. You got to start somewhere. All right? And you got to evaluate it. You know, you don't fully give your trust right off the bat. Go a little bit at a time. Spend some time with people. Get to know them. Build a relationship. Do training together. Hard training. You know, see what kind of mindset they have. All right? And that's what hard training does, dudes. You know, it shows you who you're really dealing with. I think that about covers it. And let me talk about one more thing real quick, okay? And I'll just hit this. It's not totally about the trust topic, but guys, when you're looking for SHTF groups, the best way to go about it is to look for people that are survivalist minded. Maybe not so much prepper minded, because if you're prepping and you don't have full trust in these people yet, you don't really know who they are, you might not want to disclose that you've got, you know, for 12 months of food at your house. Okay? But looking for people that are survivalist minded, that's much easier to do, and it's a lot easier to build a reputation. I got my rooster is like 1.5 feet from me, staring at me, and he'll just attack you out of nowhere sometimes. Be good, Bruce Lee. I'll bitch smack you. Come at me. He knows I will too. That's it, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Okay? Like, share, subscribe. Comments about trust in SHTF and among your SHTF group, okay? We'll get deeper into community stuff later, and I'll probably do a big community video as a part of my efficient prepping series. You know, super important. But I'll leave you guys for now. Check out my Patreon in the description. Tons of extra content. Dudes, I'm doing info dumps on there. Videos for patrons that are a lot longer. And I'm just like hitting everything that I kind of gleamed over or forgot about in these videos. Well, it's not everything. There's so much information, guys. Okay? But yeah, check it out. You know, help support the channel on there. That's it. See y'all in the next one.